All right, now that we're here with the stomach, let's see if we can suggest a reaction from the tissue, from the stomach to the scope, rubbing up and down the wall. So I'm going to come in here a little tight so I can see this better. And let's see, going to make the stomach active or take off the reference. Here's my stomach, and I'm going to add an edge loop right about where the scope is. I want some fine control over the surface of the stomach. So as the scope moves, like we just made it do, I want to be able to push the stomach in. So the scope is coming in here. Right now it's not touching. If we get real close, we can see. And if I get right about there, 297 starts to touch. If I click on my IK scope, I can see those values too. Okay. So about, yeah, say 300 is too much. 297 seems to be a spot, or 296. That's about where the stomach is, the scope rather, is just not in contact with the stomach. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a blend shape now to modify the surface of the stomach in response to that echo scope. So I've got the base stomach, or the stomach that's going to be my base, selected, and I'm going to copy it and then move the copy. Oh shucks, it didn't copy it, sorry. So actually that's good because I didn't realize it had stuff on it. So let's get rid of the history. Let's freeze its transformations, and let's center its pivot. All right, now let's see if we can duplicate. Okay, so this I'm going to call it, it's going to name it automatically. Put a 1 after the name. I'm going to call it target. I'm going to call it top target, so I know it's going to affect the top part. All right. Let me try to see if I can name it over here. There we go. Okay. So right here, I'm going to let's get the IK for the scope. Where did that go? There we go. And I know that at 320 here, I know I'm going to be pushing it. Now, I want to get to that keyframe. I want to be certain I'm on that keyframe. One of the ways to do that is this little icon means go to the next step forward to one key, or go to the next keyframe. So that guarantees me I'm on 320. It's really worth your time to use these as opposed to try to eyeballing where you are, because often you can make a mistake and not realize it. All right, so when I'm here, I need to take this face and move it back and down a little bit, I believe. Okay, so I want to have contact. I want to be pushing up against it, but I don't want to be. You can see right now, if you look real carefully, I'm actually inside it pretty deeply. So let's move this back and maybe even give it a little twist. Okay, so that it looks like the surface of that. We can go down to the edge and move the edge independently. So when you do a shape blend, you can do edges and you can do CVs and you can do faces. You just can't use things like the translate. So now I've got my face pushed up, responding essentially to the echo scope pushing on it. All right, so I'm going to pull back a little bit, start with selecting my target, which is this stomach, the duplicate, then the base, which is the original stomach, and then I'm going to create a blend shape here. And I'm going to call it top stomach depress. Okay. I'm not going to worry about the deformation order because there is no rig or anything on the stomach. I'm going to say create. I should have over here, let's go in and see if we can see the result. So notice my stomach now is where it was after we edited it. This is, even though this is the original stomach, it's been edited by our manipulating the face and the edge. When I go to reach the target, I'm going to go back to where it was. This is where the base is. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to I want to set some keyframes, but really what did we say? We wanted to be at 297. So at 297, I want the stomach to be in its natural position, or the position where it's not being pressed. And I'm going to key a keyframe there. By the time I get to 320, and I can always check by going to my keyframe here, I need that stomach to be back, pushed in. So now I should have, as I start to make contact, the stomach should start to move. Now I want the stomach to stay exactly in that position because the echo scope doesn't move. So I'm going to go over there. So I'm going to go again and click go back and go forward to the next keyframe, make sure I'm on the right spot, and I'm going to key it as well. So now it's going to hold that position. And that's important because, as you can imagine, I'm going to want to change this as it goes down. So it's beginning to push. Now if I want it, see, like right here, that's still pretty deep. You know, we started at 297, but by 300 it's pretty deep there. So I think what we want to do is kind of encourage that, have a little more reaction at that point. So now you see we get to our spot, and it seems like it's going pretty well. Now you want to see the keyframes. We're looking at the keyframes here, okay, for the IK. What I want to do is see the keyframes for the actual blend shape we just made from the shape editor. So if I click on the base object, which in this case is the stomach, and scroll down, there's my blend shape we made, and there is the you can see the red. So you can now see the keyframes that we put on there. So we have a keyframe at 297. We have another one at 300 to kind of expedite that change. Another one at 320 where it fully is depressed, and one at 340 where it's holding that fully depressed position. All right, I'm going to stop the tape and we'll continue the next step.